So at this point, we may have discovered that you might need Medicare A and B as your primary insurance, but you still have access to your group health plan. So the question becomes, should I just consider Medicare altogether and come off of my group health plan at this time? So there's a few things to think about. Number one, do I like the group health plan? Is the coverage really good for me? Do I have access to all the doctors that I want and the coverages that I need? And then number two, let's talk about costs. So the premium costs that's coming out of your paycheck, plus your out-of-pocket medical expenses, your copays, deductibles, and co-insurances when you need medical care. And what we'll do is we'll add those all up and we'll do a break-even comparison against Medicare. Now, if you're covered under a spouse's plan with a company that has more than 20 employees, that break-even is about $3,600 a year. So if you're not paying at least $3,600 a year out of your spouse's paycheck, as well as your medical expenses, your deductibles and such, then that group health plan is probably going to be more cost effective for you and stay on it for a while. But remember, when you're doing that, you need to look at the difference between the employee and spouse premium versus the employee only premium, because sometimes we find that if you're the dependent spouse, you're paying more to be on that group health insurance plan than the employee themselves, because the employer may not have as high of a cost share. Now, for most of us on the call, we might be covered under our current employer, which has less than 20 employees. And if Medicare is required to be primary in that case, you're already going to need Medicare A and B. So that's a constant cost that you're going to have regardless of if you stay on the group health plan or if you drop it and just enroll in the Medicare secondary insurance. So our break even becomes a little bit lower. What we'll do at that point for you is we will compare your group health insurance premiums and out-of-pocket expenses against just a Medicare supplement and prescription drug plan premium. And if you think if your group health plan is costing you less than $2,400 a year or less than $200 a month on average, then it still probably remains more cost effective as secondary insurance. But if it costs more than $2,400 a year, or you have some high out-of-pocket expenses on your group health plan, then just dropping that all together, since you're going into A and B anyway, dropping that all together and getting a supplement and a Medicare prescription plan or a Medicare Advantage plan may be more cost effective for you. And there's also other reasons why, if you're in an under 20 life group, there's other reasons why you may want to consider dropping the plan and going into Medicare secondary when you enroll in Medicare at that time, because there may be some underwriting considerations to consider if you enroll now versus waiting. They may be, you may have access to different plans. So I would just say if you fall into that category, I would strongly recommend a personal consultation with one of our folks here, and we'll be able to go through that with you in more detail. So one thing to consider is that your dependent spouse may be more expensive to stay on your group health plan than you as the employee. So when doing a cost analysis, what we'll typically ask you for is what is the premium out of your paycheck for you and your spouse together? And then what is the premium out of your paycheck if you were to reduce it to single only coverage? And that difference between the premiums is in effect your spouse's premium. And many times we're finding that the spouse's premium is much higher than the employee themselves, making Medicare more attractive for probably, I would say about 60% of the spouses we work with, they find Medicare more attractive than the group health plan. So just be mindful that if you're thinking about coming off of your group health plan because you think Medicare might be more cost effective, be mindful if you have a spouse that's under age 65 that's a dependent on your plan. Because if you as the employee come off of the group health plan, your spouse is not eligible for Medicare yet, so their only option would be COBRA or an individual health insurance plan, which may not be very cost effective. So those are other things that we can talk through with you.